The SsangYong Action Racing Series, full of drama, action, excitement. 3 rounds down, and the 4th one is all set to unload at mighty Manfeild, Circuit Chris Amon. BNZ, in association with LDB, Hankook, Elf and BGW, proudly present the SsangYong Action Racing Series. Circuit Chris Amon, Magic Manfeild and Fielding in the central North Island, 3.3 kilometres. And it's a perfect place for round 4 of the SsangYong Action Racing Series. Yes, the utes were parked out the back, but that's what they're good for, used for the tradies, but they're also made to race. And what a series it's been so far. 64 points between the top 4 going into round 4, so it's all on, led by Todd Prugene, who once again is the man out in front, followed by Christina Orr West, Murray Brook, Morgan Foster, Stoneman, Mallard, Watson, Cherie, Quinlan and Henny. That's the grid as they line up for race 1. So at the moment it's Todd Prugene, number 44, who has a lead of just 28 points. And he's been chased by Murray Brook, Mark Mallard, and Kirk Stoneman as they go 3 wide down the main straight here at Magic Manfeild. And I've got to say, Mark Pedersen, isn't it a great sight because you can get so many utes into one corner right from the get-go?
You can do, Brownie, but 3 into 1 at some stage has to filter back into the 1 racing line. This circuit here at Manfeild, it is the most technically demanding track in New Zealand, if not Australasia. It has everything working against the drivers in every corner you go to. So it's not a matter of surviving this place, it's a matter of actually nurturing it, getting one with the track as soon as you can, because it is so physically demanding on the drivers, the brakes, the tyres, everything.
It's got a fantastic flow about it with these cambered corners, bank corners like this, and also you've got 3 straights like the Denny Holmes straight here, so plenty of chance to do some slipstreaming.
Oh, and that's exactly right, and that's part of the technically demanding part of it, Brownie, is that you have a big straight and then a huge deaccelerating or braking zone. Then you've got another one, so everything's getting hot, it's getting cold. You've got to set yourself up, and because it's got 3 long straights, you've got to keep the momentum going, you've got to keep the flow going. But if you want to pass someone, you've got to execute that manoeuvre very early. You've got to let them know what you're going to do, sucker them in and do exactly the opposite.
And of course, the way in which the track is designed, you've got load on, say, like the right-hand side of the car, and then here you've got load on the left-hand side of the car. So you can't just sort of set the car up just for one sort of side, can you?
No, you can't. And the beauty about this track here is what they call cambered corners. So if you're turning to the right, there's a bit of pointing going on here. Maybe Murray's trying to work in conjunction with someone, but you don't do that at Manfeild. It's survival of the fittest at this place, because you don't have the luxury of the bump drafting like we've got at other tracks. Bit of rubber name. That's Kirk Stoneman on the outside, Christine Orr just in front, so he's an illustrious company behind him and in front of him.
And this corner here, turn 1 Toyota, really suddenly just tightens on you, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. What he's saying there to Kirk is, look, follow me. Yeah. Let's not fight each other. Let's work together. Let's get on the back of the 2 utes in front of them. All 4 of them are championship antagonists, so they've all got to try to, get in front of each other to take the championship points away. But you're right, if you work with someone, you can get the speed out of it. If you start defending, because there's so many corners at this place, you take all the speed out, you have no chance.
Had a good chat with Todd Prugene, who's the young series leader. He says a change in attitude has been really good for him. He's matured as a driver and just more consistent. Even though they've got gear problems, at one stage in the last round, they're actually stuck in 3rd gear.
And it's just nature of the beast. These are fantastic little racing utes, and they do a lot of mileage, and we've seen from all the magnificent pictures we've got, it is hard mileage all the way through. They don't take it easy in any part of them, probably other than the slow down lap, but what they put this punishment through these utes, it's a testament to how good they actually are.
Here's the bump draft. Kirk Stoneman, right behind Murray Brook.
Watch for the cross straight down the inside. Murray was expecting it, but that's a fantastic move. The ute in front goes a little bit high to set themselves up. You just go down and occupy the real estate they've left down the inside, and it make life difficult for them on this last corner coming into this front straight.
Big kink in that main straight. You've got to be careful there because you can't cut someone off and push them onto the grass.
No, you can't. But Christina, she's actually in a fantastic position here, because what she'll do is she'll muscle the ute down to the inside and look for the crossover. But I don't think she's got enough speed to do so.
And it's a great flowing corner, turn 2. It flows straight down into splash at 3.
Oh, look, you're hard out here, Brownie. Then it's flat. You're hard on the brakes. You muscle it down. You hit the curb on the inside. Let it bounce where it bounces. That's going to be the apex for the next part of the corner, which is right there. You're flat. You've got to stop the thing for this magnificent hairpin. But all these corners are banked, so you can actually use a lot of mechanical grip going into the corner because the ute will naturally slow itself down and get grip at the same time.
And when you get really into it, like they're nicely spread out now, so they've got into a nice rhythm here, but you can go too wide around it. Oh, one of them's gone onto the grass. You can go too wide around this track and really put the squeeze on each other.
You do, and because you had it at the beginning of the show, because it's 3 long straights, if you do a bit of a blunder, it takes you so long to recover, and because the other utes behind you have done everything right, they're going to have a bit of momentum. This is it. This track here is where you can get swallowed by the train so easily.
On board, Morgan Foster. Down the back straight at Magic Manfeild. Circuit Chris Amon. Of course, the man out of Bulls, just down the road. Fantastic little wee town, Bulls. Everything's a load of bull. This is unbelievable.
It's a prime example of what I was saying, an illustrated view of what I was saying earlier about there is no gentleness on these utes. Like, he was just hard down through the gears, very little rev, heel toe in involved. And it's just a miracle how strong these things are built that they last the punishment.
Ute 44, Ute 55, Prugene, Christina Raw West doing a superb job out in front. Both of them very, very consistent with their speed throughout the series, really setting the benchmark. And then Murray Brook, one of the big improvers. Stoneman having a look down the inside. He's going to try and muscle his way. Oh, a little bit of rubbing and racing, good skills.
Yeah, look, Murray actually almost turned himself into Kirk there, but if Kirk can just keep the momentum going, look for a dive down on the inside of the hairpin. Murray's going to come across. Kirk, actually, I thought he would have had a chance down the inside, but just didn't eventuate in the end.
The other guy who can walk the walk and talk the talk is number 8. That's Mark Mallard. And we're on board the series coordinator, who's doing a superb job, not only behind the scenes, but behind the wheel.
Oh, it's an outstanding job. The last round, he got his first ever podium. So what we've seen here, this is Mark, this is actually on merit. He fully deserves where he is. It's through hard work and determination. Just listen for the cues on the throttle. And he's muscling it, and he's proved that he can win races, and he's just as good to win championships.
But he's also running the series at the same time, so everything he's doing is a great, great team effort. All West has a look down the outside. Prugene covers it off. Stoneman trying to have a look down the inside of Murray Brook. And then Mallard says, oh, let's go too wide onto the main straight.
Yep, Kirk just, he's going to give enough race room because he has to, because if you crowd someone on the inside right there, and it goes wrong, the results are catastrophic. We've seen it time and time before with other categories. You do not want to be going on the grass on the inside because it'll just spitch into the concrete wall down pit lane.
And now Mark Mallard, he's got the drive and he's done the slipstream and he's taken that spot off Kirk Stoneman. So these are the championship contenders. Prugene leads from Brook in second, Mallard and Stoneman. They're the top 4 in the championship. Christina Raw West, she's coming back up there. She's in the top 5 as well. So they're right up there. Oh, Mallard. Kirk.
Mark just carried a little bit too much speed, a little bit of understeer, kind of took the real estate where Kirk was hoping to go, but it's just good, clean, honest, hard racing. That's all the way down to first gear. You'll see the little indicator on the right-hand side of the dash flacking. So that's 2. That means second gear, third gear. You can see how it's going to work from here on in, but I have to say first gear seems quite a low gear to be using at that hairpin, but it's just about keeping the momentum built up for the speed all the way down to second, hard on the brakes. Off the brakes now, let the ute set itself out.
Mallard a bit wobbly coming out of Higgins.
Yeah, but that's nothing wrong with that if you can keep the momentum going with the wobbliness. Which you can't, that's why Captain's got to run on him.
Revving and racing right to the limit.
He can't do anything here, Kirk. He has to live with that position. Maybe in the hope that maybe Mark makes a mistake. Made a complete liar and muppet out of me, and that's a pass you don't see very often.
Nice pass. In fact, he's got the reputation of being one of those drivers that everyone respects, and they enjoy the tangle with him, but they're also very aware of because he doesn't give you much.
No, he's a hard charger, old Kirk. You know, he like they say, he'll give you the shirt off his back, but he won't give you the pockets or the buttons to go with it. That's how hard a charger
Oh,
is.
looking for the old Aussie wallet.
Yeah.
George, West, what's happening? He's gone West. No, he recovers.
Oh, Mark Mallard went down the inside and he just about drove Captain off the side of the track. So it'll be interesting to watch the next few or 3 corners to see if there's any retribution in that.
So Foster having a look, got down the inside after West went wild going into turn 1. That's easily done. A lot of people can overdo the braking going down the end of that main straight. Prugene though, gee, he's been good, consistent throughout the series. Last lap, can he hold on? Can Christina Orr West pick a place to make a pounce?
And of course, Murray Brook now has joined the back of this battle, while Kirk and Mark Mallard were fighting. So this is on for young and old, because Murray Brook could very easily be the spoiler in this whole battle.
It's like Formula First racing with tin tops and a ute at the back, you know? All the slipstreaming and the drafting, and they're right up behind each other.
You're right, Brownie, and because they don't have a great deal of speed, you have to learn about racecraft.
3 wide coming out of Higgins. Turn it up.
This is going to be it, busy.
Go you loose things. Oh, look at that. Oh, rubbing and racing down the back straight at Manfeild. What a way to start the weekend. Who's going to blink here? Foster, Stoneman, Mallard gets pushed out. Watson's back up. Just like Formula First racing, and here's the man of the moment, Todd Prugine, gets the win, and Christina Orr West streaming home for second, followed by Brook, and a whole battle group charging down on the line, 3 wide as they cross the stripe. So confirming the opening race, Todd Prugine gets the win, Christina Orr West held on for second, Brook a place on the podium, followed by Stoneman, Foster, Mallard, Watson, Cherie, Quinlan and Northcote rounding out the top 10. But the man of the moment extends his lead, Todd Prugine.
Stoked to come home with the win. Christina definitely didn't make it easy. She was pressuring me the whole time. I was just hoping I could hold her up enough so Murray could catch, and then maybe I would get a gap, but no, it was good racing all round, and stoked to come home with the win.
You know, obviously I had a few shots at him. I was getting off certain corners better than he was, but, you know, once you hold that white line on the inside, there's not a lot you can do other than if you've got a power load of horsepower go around the outside of him. But, you know, I gave it a shot and got a little bit of paint missing, but, you know, that's racing, and, yeah, it was a good race.
We were battling with Kirk Stoneman, but we tried to get him, Mark Mallard helped me out there, made it so I could get away, and then we got up to the other 2, but we couldn't get past them. They were really quick.
So as you can see, tradies, motor racing mums, chippies, real racers, stick around. What's going to happen in the second showdown in round 4 of the SsangYong Racing Series? Welcome back. Well, a new model sparked a great new initiative from the team at SsangYong.
In true SsangYong New Zealand fashion, we never make a typical car ad or anything typical. So when we were presented with a new product, a new double cab called a Rhino, our brains ticked into overdrive, and we forged an association with a Rhino charity for fighting, not any Rhino charity, we're fighting the poachers in Africa, and we're funding the legal battle against all of the kingpins. So how it works is that we've got a commitment to the legal team for Jamie Joseph and her team of anti-poaching vigilante-style people over there. They capture them. You know, rhino horns worth gram for gram more than cocaine. Each rhino horn can change hands for up to $1 million. It's a status thing in Asia and China typically, and you know, if we can help them in any way and people can enjoy our new double cab, why not?
Yeah, what a great idea from Dion Cooper and the team at SsangYong. So watch out for number 51, Saving the Rhino. Right, race 2, based on the fastest lap times from the opening race. So Foster got up pretty quick, followed by Prugine, Orr, Brook, Stoneman, and the rest of the gang lining up for the second showdown of the SsangYong Racing Series. Side by side. And straight away they'll fan out. Hot sunny conditions. This magnificent heat wave continues throughout the summer, and they're down to turn 1, and Prugine straight away has pounced.
He has, but it's the second and third row, but we've got to look for all the action's going to unfold here, because once again, it's a very much a funnel effect here at Manfeild. You can go 2 or 3 wide into turn 1, but at some stage, it's only going to be one racing line on the way out. Reconvene 2 side by side through turns 2, 3 and 4 where we're at now, but when you get to the hairpin, Brownie, at some stage, an order has to be presented because it's very hard to go side by side.
Great speed shot as they race through the infield at Mighty Manfeild, Circuit Chris Amon. This is the hairpin, so you can go 2 wide around here and try and get a drive. It's all about the mid-corner speed, the exit, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You can go too wide at the hairpin, but if you want to get the ultimate drive leading onto the straight, you've really got to go single file just to get the best drive, because if you're going to try to go around the outside of someone there, something has to give. But look at that, got a huge brake lock up there going into Higgins, used to be called in the old days, corner leading onto the back straight. What happens there, Brownie? You lose a little bit of momentum, it's going to cost you dearly at the end of the back straight.
So now it's all about that slipstreaming in the draft, and you'll see them line up single file. One of them will have a little bit of a duck down the inside, like Prugene, protecting the inside line into this fantastic final turn at Manfeild. Can't go too wide there, otherwise if you exceed the track limits, you'll be copped with a penalty.
And it's a huge curve too. It's what they call a saber-tooth curve. So it goes up, down, and if you run it too wide and you do happen to hit it on the wrong angle, it can actually split you into the pit wall quite easily. So that part of it, ultimate respect. But Christina Orr, she is just all over the back of the ute. She is trying to make life as difficult as she can for Todd Prugene.
Now she's going to try and muscle her way down into turn 3.
She's going to live there too.
Side, 2 by 2, and she's going to do it. He's going to stay there though.
He's going to stay there, and he'll have the inside running for this corner. Christina got the trump card for the hairpin. Man, that was a fantastic move.
Great racing though, because they've gone 2 by 2 from turn 1 right through to 4, and they're still going, and they're still giving each other racing room.
They're leaning on each other, but there is a ute. You can see in the rear vision mirror, I think that's Murray Brook there, and he'll be sitting there, rubbing his hands together with glee, thinking, they're just punching the biggest hole in the air for me. These two are going to take speed out of each other. If Kirk doesn't try to do something silly, jump down the inside of Murray Brook right now, Murray will get a fantastic drive off the last corner, and he's going to be in the box seat.
But not many tracks can you go 2 by 2 from turn 1 right through almost down to turn 7.
And that's because of the cambered corners we spoke about earlier in race 1, and that's what makes this place so dynamic from a driving and also spectating perspective.
Oh, it's a driver's dream, this place. Absolute sensational. Oh, a little bit of a tweak. Good recovery by Brook.
Oh, it's a fantastic move. It's a pity it didn't work out, but he made his intentions very, very clearly known that he's here to race and he's here to win the championship. Won't win it this weekend. Certainly go a long way towards losing it, though.
Yes, it's all about picking up points and being in a place to pounce when you get to the Enduros, because it's all about having momentum, not only going into this corner, but into the big Enduros, because that's where Peter Bennett won it last year.
We got Kirkstone right around the outside of turn 1, and he's now in the favoured spot. Not for turn 2 here, but certainly when we get to turn 3, he's got the inside running.
And you'll see where Brooks going to live around the outside. They're going to give each other some room without forcing them off the track.
Yep.
That's great stuff.
It is, and like we saw the lap earlier with Christina, Kirk now has the inside preferred line, so Murray Brook probably wants to just drop back a little bit, make sure he's got a good drive on the way out, which he has done. He transitioned from first to second gear, was faultless, so he lives to have another crack.
And that's where they bring out that term, you got to bring out your elbows when you're racing these utes, because you can lean on each other.
Oh, you can do it, Manfeild, because there's so much mechanical grip because of the cambered corners. And I've said it time and time again, it is just a magnificent venue to race at.
Streaming out of Higgins. Hot stuff. 28, 39 degrees, or, well, 28 degrees out here, and it's about 39, 40 degrees plus on the track and heating up, so it's going to be hot work in the cars.
Well, certainly will be, and that in itself poses its own problem with the track. Just watching Mark Mallard here, he's getting quite a good run around. So what happens here is the surface is relatively new. It might have been down for 1 or 2 years. So what happens, the sun beats down on the black tarmac. Tarmac, part of the composition, it has oils in it. That raises to the top on a hot day, makes mechanical grip very hard to find.
And the levels of grip change throughout the day too as the sun heats up or a bit of cloud cover comes over. Normally it's cooler in the morning, that's when the track's at its quickest, and then sometimes it can just sort of get a bit tacky in the afternoon as that once again 2 by 2 out of 2 into 3 side by side.
Yeah, Todd's going to try to live there, but once again he's going to live there for this corner. Christina's going to have the preferred line for down on the hairpin.
So she's going to try and muscle her way into the lead here, and I think can she make it stick?
Well, she's on the tight line now, okay, so she's actually used a lot of room on the way up. Kind of a little bit ran Todd out of racing room, but there's nothing in that. That's just good, hard, honest racing between two fierce competitors.
Been working hard on this gear problem since Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park at Taupo. And he's a lot smoother this year.
He is. the transformation from one season to another, unless you saw the name on the car, you wouldn't realise it was the same person, and that's part of growing as a character, isn't it? Yeah.
And that's also part of the class, isn't it? That you could get behind the wheel of this thing, fight it, overdrive it, then you say, okay, I've got to button off and become smooth and fast and actually try and caress this thing around the track a bit more.
Yeah, look for the gap down the inside. Christina's protected that very well, so doing a fantastic job out front.
So he's learnt from that fast life in the fast lane, which is great skills. Oh, look at Stone weaving all over the place.
He's got to run down the outside, and we've seen this time and time again with Todd and Christina, that if he can go around the outside on turn one, he can probably actually make this stick.
Remember, just 64 points between the top four going into round four, so it is still anyone's championship, even though Todd Prugine has been leading the way. Christina West in the top five, so this is a great chance for her to pick up some points and close the pressure on these blokes.
With a bit of a lock-up now. That's how hard Christina's pushing. You saw the white smoke. That's her in the front of the race. Still trying that hard. She's locking wheels. Todd's learnt from his earlier passes from Christina that you have to come down and defend that line into the hairpin, and that's exactly what he done on Kirk Stoneman.
Watson going a bit wide in the blue ute, number 3 out wide. Stays on the tarmac though, keeps it in those white lines. It's another good motor racing saying, because if you go on the grass, you're just going to lose so much time. And it's so dry here at the moment, you never know what's going to happen.
No, that's right. You pick up dust, there's debris and everything on the outside. A huge lock-up again. That's the second or third time we've seen that from that ute. So that's a mechanical part of the ute. It's not a fault with it. And the drivers and the crew can actually work that out of the ute very easily.
What about your tyre wear around a track like this?
No, very little tyre wear because there's so much mechanical grip. You don't really go through the tyres. But it's hard because there is no reprieve, like we mentioned earlier. And look at this battle going on here.
Brooke and Watson, 2x2 coming out of turn 7. And in the background, Mallard as well. Foster hanging in there.
That's what happens when I spoke about earlier, that if you don't get yourself re-established in the train and you go a little bit wide, they'll just start flicking you off one by one by one.
So it's last lap. You've got the cream machines. James Watson in the blue ute, number 3. And you've got Mark Mallard in the white one, number 8. So it's Murray Brook is in that cream sandwich at the moment. The question is, the cream always rises to the top, so will it be Watson or will it be Mallard? And Murray Brook is just going to try and spoil their party. They're talking about a party. It's Christina West. She's on target to get another win in the series and break that stranglehold of Todd Prugine. Can she do it?
She certainly can do in this one because she doesn't have Todd putting a huge amount of pressure on her. She can come down to the last couple of braking zones, do everything she's meant to do, hit the braking markers, the apex of the throttle. But this battle for 4th, 5th and 6th, this is going to go all the way to the finish line.
Been a great performer, Christina West, in a variety of classes. The motoring mum out of the Bay of Plenty. And, of course, Prugine, the big improver. Kirk Stoneman, he's a born racer. And then the rest of the field, here they are. Battle groups all down the back straight, last lap. Manfeild and Christina West deserves this victory.
Oh, yes, absolutely. You know, she had a few trials and tribulations earlier in the championship, but
here we go.
And hard work, she's still up there.
Here's the cream team.
I'm surprised Mark Mallard dropped back so much. I thought he would have mothered all the ute in front of him and just taken that spot off Murray Brook.
Christina West gets the checkered flag, takes the win in race 2. Prugine picks up more points down to the line. Oh, good racing. Thumbs up. So confirming that result, Christina West first, Todd Prugine second, Kirk Stoneman rounding out a place on the podium. And then great racing all the way down between Watson, Brook, Mallard, Foster in that battle between 4th right through to 7th. So it's now Christina West who gets another win.
At the start, it got a little bit hair-raising as I decided to try and go right down the white line, and it worked. There was a bit of bumping and scrubbing, but yeah, no, me and Todd had a great, battle, side by side for most of the lap, and no, it was a fantastic race. And looked in my mirrors and saw Stoneman doing a great job for me, and I managed to gap them.
Yeah, well, we're door to door with Christina and Kirk at a few points during the race. It was great racing on everyone's behalf, and yeah, stoked to have the ute on the podium again.
Todd's a little bit hard to get past and make it easy, but we came close, and no, I was quite happy with that. Passed a couple of cars and got up there to 3rd, so yeah, I'm really happy.
Welcome back to our little wee petrolhead paradise here. Circuit Chris Amon Manfeild, and it's all part of the Speedworks Motorsport Championship in round 4 of the SsangYong Action Racing Series. Really been soaked up, the heat, but also all the action from the fans enjoying the racing as we get set now for the third showdown. It's the reverse top 10. So it's Alex Cherie and Heaney, a couple of the newcomers out in front. Will they handle the pressure as all the fast cars are right behind them? Once again, 2-3 wide down the straight here at Manfeild. Race 3, SsangYong Action Racing Series. Can Alex Cherie, number 77. Oh, look at that. Booyah! Right from the first corner.
That's a pretty big hit too. It's there's no denying that. But
it's like they both forgot to turn.
Oh, they did.
Hit the brakes. Oh, we have to turn, boys. Bang. Sorry, mate. Oh, and one of them's onto the grass. Get it back under control. Watson.
Is he going to survive? Kind of. He's going to lose a few spots, but stayed away from the gravel trap. But
agricultural, that's the term you'd use to describe that sort of racing.
Well, then they've got the best platforms have been the Utes to make that happen, haven't they, Huey?
Let's go on board. A wild ride.
He actually just turned himself around, just turned in front of the Ute in front of him. It's one of those things, unfortunately. Presence of space, they call that, or lack of.
And he doesn't like get the old dings and dents, Mr. Watson.
No, but it is Kirk Stoneman down the inside, 3 abreast. A lot of places can be made right here.
Trudging. Look, but he's getting a bit aggro. It's like fielding ag out there at the moment.
And this is what I love about this reverse top 10 grid, Brandy. This is what it does. You have to charge from the first corner of the first lap because you're surrounded by equal competitors at equal speed, equal capability as yourself. So you have to execute your move and establish yourself in front of these people as soon as you can. And if there is any opportunity, any ray of light at any corner, you have to take that gap.
One make motor racing at its best. Of course, you've got the slower drivers with a chance to get some racing room out in front, but also the pressure of racing in the rear-view mirror. Remember the 2.3-litre Mercedes motors, so they've all got the same sort of machinery where they can tweak the sports suspension and the setup, but it's going to give these chance for the drivers who've been knocking on the door to see what it's like to lead a race, to see if they can hang on for the victory. And it's also the impossible. No one has won the race beforehand, started from P10 and driven through and won the reverse grid race.
Now, not for a sprint race. Certainly seen in the endurance last round, but that doesn't really count. I'm a purist of the sport.
It's the sprint race.
Yeah, exactly right. So
it's a big ask, as they say.
Oh, it is, and especially knowing Manfeild, how technically demanding it is. I don't think we're going to see it. I hope we do, but I don't believe we will because it's such a fierce battle pack that they're looking for at the moment.
You'll see the number 51 Ute, the Saving the Rhino Ute, Saving the Wild. Great initiative by the team at SsangYong. There's on board Christina Orr West.
She's getting frustrated. She's starting to lean on the number 4 Ute because Murray Brooks on the outside. He's going to have enough clear air where he should be able to pull in front now. And she's just going to start bump drafting that Ute.
Well, it's got relocatable on its rear thing. I think she'd love to relocate it, wouldn't she?
At the moment, yeah, you've got to be a bit careful here because it is very easy to lubricate someone off the end of the track. We've seen it before.
Oh, a little bit tap there.
Yeah. And that Murray Brook, we saw that just racecraft right around the outside.
Now, this is where you've got to be careful there. Cut that corner. You can't go onto the grass there.
No, you can go on the grass, but you've got to be very respectful because if something goes wrong and it steps out, then it's stage exit hard left in the concrete wall.
Well, it's not conducive to good grip, is it?
Absolutely no way, shape or form, Brown.
So at the moment...
Oh, look at this, three abreast, 4 abreast almost.
Great racing, Manfeild.
Oh, that's it. That's
Robinson Racing.
Silly.
Oh, no, contact, and Quinlan, the Australian driver search, and he's parked it not on the beach.
And the grab, he won't get out of that, so that's... Well, safety car, exactly right. Oh, fantastic. Rebunching the field.
Let's have a look at the replay and see what happened here. Just charging down the inside. Oh, Foster just loses it, basically, and just elbows him.
No, actually, I'm going to support Foster on this one. He was in the right place at the wrong time, and number 11 Ute actually just turned down into him.
Turned down?
Yep. Absolutely. Because we've seen it before, haven't we? Side by side, lap for lap, where 2 Utes can go in there and survive. Yeah, I don't see any point throwing your hand in the air because I think both parties contributed 50% each.
And we're hearing the 2 Utes, 44 Prugene and 22 Stoneman, are both under investigation for passing under yellow under the safety car. So that's going to be a post-race problem for those two. So we're back racing now. Safety cars left the track. The Utes are still out there, staying on the tarmac in between the white lines. And it's Alex Cherie, one of the young guys, really getting into his racing. Big, tall kid, and getting a lesson there from Kirk Stoneman.
Kirk was all over him like a rash, wasn't he? And put the pressure on. I thought he was going to stay there, but obviously Captain put enough pressure on that the young fella decided to back out of it.
Look at Prugine sweeping around down the inside at 4.
Oh, and that's what I was speaking about earlier, that if you show someone a ray of light at the circuit, they are going to take it.
So Murray Brook, can he hold on? Worked his way back up from the that reverse grid start. He's grabbed the lead. Stoneman, Prugine, both under investigation, remember. Christina Royal West, Alex Cherie in the 77 as we go on board. Revving the guts out of that thing.
Yeah, he's certainly using every rev that's available. Not always the best thing to do, because sometimes torque, power delivery is a lot better than engine rev delivery. And that makes sense for anything. So sometimes you're better off changing a little bit early, get into the third gear and just keep the momentum getting built, especially around Manfeild because it's such a high flow volume circuit.
Great corner here, turn 7, the entry onto the main straight. Flows through that kink, and now it's all about picking your racing line going into turn 1 Toyota and making sure you don't overcook the brakes, which a lot of people have done throughout the weekend.
You've got to get yourself set up. There's a little bit of oversteer on the entrance corner. You know that because you saw the steering wheel all of a sudden flick to the left when they're turning right. A little bit of mid-correction in the handling. Now is he going to go right around the outside? Right, line of stern. Oh! Man, it's just sheer punishment, isn't it? It's just amazing how well these utes handle it because they are screaming in second gear going through that complex of corners.
So you got to drive these things pretty hard, don't you?
Well, you do. It's the only way to get any speed out of them. But when you say drive hard, you've also got to be very smooth and very calculated in everything you do because, like we said, they don't have a great deal of speed, not a great deal of mechanical grip. They don't have the biggest brakes, so you've got to keep developing that racecraft. Just keep building momentum because, as it's in other circuits, if you get it wrong and you flutter, you can get passed by a lot of utes. Sorry, Bernie, what Todd Prugine done, that was actually a silly thing. He come on the back straight and he immediately blocked Christina. What he should have done is keep the momentum going in the ute, then come across and defended her because by turning so early in the straight, all you do is take the ute speed out and puts Christina in a position to try to make a pass.
Yeah, I was just about to say a couple of different racing lines into and out of Higgins, but it also affects your actual racing speed because when you're racing someone else, you're not actually doing what they term as that optimal racing line.
That's right, and you've mentioned it before, you've got to keep the momentum going, and by turning so sharp, you're not doing that.
And look at this, Brook, he's holding the defensive line, the inside line into turn 1. He said, stuff the racing line, you guys are going to go around the outside of me if you want to pass me.
Yeah, I think what Kirk was going to do, he was going to have a crack around the outside of Murray Brook, but then realised Todd Prugine was on the inside, so he left himself exposed mid-corner, and he had to kind of think, what if, and here's Christina Orr, she's just capitalised right down the inside, and we all know what's going to happen here in 2 corners' time.
So they've done this before over the weekend. Great racing, side by side, good skills. Prugine said, no, Christina, not this time.
No, he just ran her out of real estate, didn't he?
Yeah.
So all that cost him coming out of the hairpin.
He just shut the door and she said, okay, you do that, I'll open up another door. Here we go.
Right. Now she's on the inside. Now she's going to make it to the outside of the last corner, which might not be a bad thing because if she can crowd Todd down to the apex where he has to take a bit of speed out to get around the corner, she'll get the dividends at the end of the back straight.
Murray Brook, though, he's been one of the big improvers in the series. And he's fighting hard at the moment. Stoneman's searching, trying to bump his way past. How will he position himself going into turn 7? Look at the defensive line he's already doing.
Yeah, he's certainly let Kirk Stoneman know exactly where he's going to be on the racetrack going around the last corner, isn't he? So can Kirk just jump down the inside?
No. He's blocked the door now. It's all about that exit speed. And just take it down to the line, take it down to the checkered flag time. Murray Brook, number 30, Stoneman, Prugine, Christina Royal West. But remember, 2nd and 3rd at the moment on the track are under protest, under investigation. So it may change as the rest of the field stream past. Great crowd here at Manfeild. So it's Brook, Christina Royal West getting up to 2nd and Foster after Prugine and Stoneman copped that post-race penalty from the investigation. So a good win for number 30, Murray Brook. He's the man with the smile on the dial.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We've been fighting a gremlin in the car for the last few meetings, but we found out what it is. We couldn't fix it. They didn't have a part, but we've made it better than what it was. The car was a lot better then, but that racing was awesome, like close racing. I thought I'd stuff the start up, the restart, but so I slowed down a little bit and they caught me up. Yeah, we got the win, and that's really cool. With the 700 points up for grabs at so it's double around at Poki, we can there's quite a lot of people still in the thing. If you break down, it's not going to be a good thing.
Yes, looking forward to Saturday, March 16, the big decider at Pukekohe. 2 enduros, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and here are some of the combinations to watch out for, because it's all about momentum going into that big day. Christina Raw West and Rowan Shepherd, what a combo that will be. And of course, teaming up, and the points at the moment, just 64 points between the top 4, so double points, Mallard and Peter Vodanovic. What a combination that will be as well to watch out for. So be there. Free to watch too. Saturday the 16th of March at Pukekohe. Now it's all about the 4th and final race to wrap up the action at Circuit Chris Amon and Mighty Manfeild, round 4 of the SsangYong Action Racing Series. Short and sharp today, and a chance to take that momentum into the enduros, where it was won and lost in the pits actually last year, but at the moment it's back on track. Here they go, 3, 4 wide, the Screen Machines, down into turn 1.
5 wide. You saw what happened in race 3 when it doesn't go to plan. So, of course, Kirkstone and Todd Perugini will be a bit nervous here because of the penalties they took on after race 3. They've been shuffled a bit further back in the grid to probably where they expected to be, so they've got a bit of work to do.
But she's doing a great job out in front. Christina Raw West, Murray Brook. Look at Mallard forcing his way through turn 3. And the number 8 white ute.
Murray Brook's going to be a bit of a spoiler here because he's had the taste of victory earlier in the weekend. So is Christina for that matter. So they're both going to be desperate. And because it's all about the points going into the Tour Enduros, and as we just alluded to, you can't lose the championship here, but it can certainly go a long way towards you losing it when you get to that last round.
But little things like Murray Brook was talking about that had a gremlin, they've been searching, chasing for it to try and get rid of it. Now they've finally done that. You can take that sort of setup into Pukekohe, and yet when you unpack it, get it out onto the track, you're not chasing the speed all the time. You've got rid of some of those problems.
And you just hit probably the biggest point about motorsport is that if you roll roll the ute out the back of the truck,
yeah,
and for that first lap you're in sync and you're fast, you're away. But if you're fighting something from the minute you turn the first wheel, it is so hard to ever recover.
Well, you talk to so many race teams, and especially drivers, if they're chasing speed over the weekend, the driver lacks confidence, so he's not going to push that car that little extra tenth into that corner or try and send it down the inside, and that's where they just sort of button off, and they're looking for problems rather than looking for speed.
It's interesting, Brownie. At the very back of the picture there, I believe that's Todd Perugini. He's not in this battle group anymore.
Now, he's had a problem with the gear lever.
There we go. He's currently in second. We know that because of the indicator.
And that's exactly what we've been talking about over the weekend. They've been having a problem with their gear lever and the gearbox since the start of the practice.
And we saw it at the previous round as well at Taupo,
yeah.
if I stood to be corrected. So what's happened if that thing's stuck in second gear? That's not a bad thing for him.
Well, that's going to be a big change in the championship too, because he's the series leader. So if he's got problems, this could be a big moment in the series here. This could open the door for all the other contenders, and one of them's gone off into the dust but recovered, which is good.
Yeah, but it does. You're right. But if he's jammed in second gear, right, he'll still be able to finish the race. You see him in the background there, and he'll still be able to accumulate points. I've actually won an NZV8 race here, stuck in fourth gear for 6 laps. No one knew we were suffering, but because you just kept the momentum going, the only place we looked a little bit of trouble was the hairpin, but because people didn't know, they didn't have a crack at us, and we still won the race. So it can be done.
In fourth gear?
In fourth gear, yeah.
Good skills.
Yeah, pretty hard work.
But I tell you what, for Perugini, it's just a matter of finishing this race or trying to finish it to maintain some form of points.
He was, and if you're in that situation, you're battling for a championship, you know you've only got second gear, you do not touch the gear lever ever again, because there's no point trying to search for something that's not there in case you end up breaking something. That's all part of the technical requirements that you learn as a driver along the way.
Exactly what Murray Brook was talking about at the end of that previous race. You have one breakdown, one DNF, and bang, that could completely change your whole chance of taking out the championship.
That's right, and it's a blink of the eye stuff, isn't it?
It's also getting towards the end of the series, so the drivers are tired, but also the utes are tired as well.
Yeah, and part of the motorsport, and you mentioned a very valid point before, it's when you roll the ute out of the back of the truck for that very first lap. So you've got to do, look at these two leaning on each other, Captain Kirk. But you've got to do the preparation as well. So when you do roll the ute out the back of the truck, you're not at the circuit trying to repair it or do the maintenance. You're there to do mileage, to get the speed out of it, to win races.
On board with Kirk Stoneman.
He's got his race face on, isn't he? Looking in the mirrors, he's looking at the left and right. Well, the left one does nothing anyway because there's hardly anything in there, but he needs to understand how many utes are around him to see if he should have an honest crack to make this pass down the outside, sorry.
Late and hard under brakes at Higgins. He can live there, plenty of space, and take it all the way down the back straight to turn 7.
I'm not going to say he can't live there because he made an absolute muck out of me in race 1 or race 2 it was, so he's going to be brave. He'll just come down and try to execute the move.
Now it's going to be hard to stay there, though.
Very hard because we're going to have another ute come right down the inside and take...
Oh, he's done a good job.
He
and
has.
he's stayed within the track limits. Great driving. Good
unbelievable.
skills. One of the great features of this marvellous motor racing circuit in the central North Island. It really is a great place to go and watch motor racing, Manfeild. And look at this on the brakes, saving Wild. Save the brakes, brother. Pull it up. Oh, everything's going wrong.
Synchronised looking at the brakes, isn't it?
Tom Vanderloos got it loose, but good recovery.
Oh, it's fantastic recovery, especially by...
Go the Rocket Rhino.
But Christina, she's controlling this race, isn't she? She's doing everything she can to make life a little bit difficult for Murray Brook, and she's fully entitled to do that, and that's just the professionalism of Christina. She's not rushing anything, she's not making urgent, she's not doing any mistakes, just in full control.
Last lap, and of course Murray Brook, if he's smart here, it's all about the momentum going into the Enduros of Pukekohe. Remember, March 16, it's going to be free, and it's all about the points. And he knows that with Prujig down the back of the field, big chance for him to close in on the lead, and of course a big chance for Christina Royal West to grab some valuable points too and take that momentum into the Enduros.
It is, you know, and what makes a successful champion is you don't have to win every race to do it. And Murray be fully aware of that. He knows that Christina's got a lot of speed, and he probably still want to win the race. But sometimes you're better off finish second to win the championship than you are trying to make a place for first place.
Well, Peter Bennett did that last year as the defending champion, of course not racing this year. So it's going to be Christina Royal West. What a weekend for her. Good skills. She'll take the win, make it 2 out of the 2 for the weekend. And Murray Brook's going to hang on to second spot and pick up some valuable points, followed by Mark Mallard and then Watson. So the cream team. The cream did rise to the top in that final race. So confirming that result, race 4 in round 4, Orr, Brook, Mallard, and then Watson, followed by Stoneman. Quinlan, good recovery after he parked it in the beach in the previous race. And Todd Prujig back in 16th, so disaster for him. What a start. What racing. Side by side, 2 by 2. And then the big freight train, under brakes, you name it, we got it all. Parked it up on the beach and checkered flag. So in the points now, it's Murray Brook who takes a close lead over Todd Prujig, as we talked about. And there's battles right throughout the pack. But don't forget, double the points. Saturday, the 16th of March, Pukekohe. It's going to be free. Who will win the big decider? And we'll see you there for the Enduro Series. BNZ in association with LDV, Hankook, Elf and BGW proudly present the SsangYong Racing Series.